Welcome, guys. Tonight we have a Q&A with me. I am a 35-year-old model. I've been a dating coach since 2019, so 6 years, and I'll be joined by James, who is a 54-year-old male dating coach. He's been doing this for about 20 years. So dating over 40 sucks. Well, tonight is about helping men aged 40 to 65 smash through your biggest sticking points you face with women. So don't be shy, just drop your questions in the comments and we'll be helping you guys out with that as much as we can. James and I just got off a 4-day boot camp where guys literally flew from New York, LA and South Africa all the way to Sydney, Australia. So what's that, about 28 odd hours from New York? Wow, that's pretty insane. But we saw some pretty amazing transformations as well, which was awesome, and we had lots of fun as well. So while we wait for your questions to come through, let me just start with a few questions that we often get from men aged 40 to 65. So first one, how do I get over my fears of approaching women and being rejected in public? So first of all, women, because guys aren't doing this often at all anymore, women get so frustrated that men aren't doing it. They're just not approaching. So first of all, knowing that, just know that you're probably likely to get a positive response because women aren't, it's so frustrating for us when we're sending signals. We've gone out to, a bar or a venue with some girlfriends and we're looking to get some attention and we're not getting it. So, just know that. Second of all, you've just got to do it, guys. You've got to put yourself out there and know that action beats inaction every time. If you just sit there and don't do anything, it's always going to be a no. Every opportunity leads to nowhere. But if you give it a go, there's potential for it to go somewhere. So, if you're indifferent to the outcome and just put yourself out there, take that first step and have fun with it. When you're having fun, that energy will be receptive to women. So have fun, great energy. Who cares about the outcome? And your things will likely be not too bad. Okay. And remember, what is being rejected in public? If you know how to handle a rejection without it being completely obvious that you've been rejected, then is it a rejection? No, it's not a rejection because you're also agreeing to leave. So it's actually your choice to leave. So that's a bit of a skill as well. But most of all, when you actually have the skills to approach and you feel confident in what you're doing, then there's where are these fears going to be? They're going to be evaporated. You're not going to have any fears. It is going to be fun, and you can just go with the flow. You know how to handle different tests, and you've got the energy. You've done your warm up, and you know exactly how to tackle any situation. So those are my points for how to get over your fears for approaching women and being rejected. James, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, that's great. Tess covered most of the points. I just want to add something that's absolute. Now, I'll cover some of Tess's first. I did a boot camp last week, and I warmed up like a crazy man because you have to. I mean, my job was to go into a bar with 14 guys. My approach coaches were late, and the bar was virtually empty compared to what I expected. And I had to lead 14 guys. It's usually like 20. With no approach coaches, an empty bar. So if I hadn't been maniacal about the warm-up, even though I've been doing this for not quite 20, but 19 years, I might have had some very, very unhappy people who flew a long, long way and had a guy who looked like he failed, but they don't understand it. I just went into a suicide mission. But because I had warmed up, I managed to find the one half doable approach in the bar. Girls who basically spoke English, barely spoke English, or way less than half my age, who didn't really want to talk to me because they were ordering a drink, but it was the best approach in the entire bar that I picked up. So yeah, warm up. And what's warm up look like? Jiu-jitsu is a very common one with our clients. Going for a run on the beach, going for a swim. If you've got a bunch of girls and they go have sex, go out to dinner with some high energy friends. Yeah, you got to do something to put you in a comfortable state. The woman's point of view, the whole post-Harvey Weinstein thing that happened, it probably did a hell of a lot of good for women in terms of women who are the victims of abuses of power. There's no doubt about that. But most people, including many, many women, would say it's just gone far too far in the direction of, oh, he tried to kiss me on the third date and that's some sort of sexual assault. So the simple fact is, so many desirable men have just withdrawn from this game altogether. So that's creating incredible opportunities for guys who've got even some of the stuff we talk on the YouTube live, let alone doing a date with Tess, let alone doing the live training. So if you've got some idea what you're doing, you're not doing weird pickup artist stuff, you don't go up and you're nervous as hell and weirding the girl out. If you just go up as a normal person and just introduce yourself, you'd be astounded by what can happen. So warm up. Tess touched the skill. If you don't have the skills, the whole approaching women thing is pretty problematic. Just like if you don't have the skills to fight, if you go around picking fights in the street, it could be pretty yucky. It could be very, very, very yucky. So you got to have the skills. Tess already touched on that. We go on about them a lot. Touch, eye contact, body language, conversation, style, reading signals, which is the most popular unit of our program, even more popular than sex, which, yeah, guys really want to read signals. And yeah, and if you can get all those things together, then I should never say getting better with women is easy, because your ego is involved. Your ego is very fragile. Most guys' ego are very fragile, but it's so simple. It's not that, it really isn't that difficult. And the other big thing is, I think, computers, that we might touch on in a second. Did that, I haven't got set up properly. Did guys have any questions about how do I get over my fears of approaching women and being rejected in public? I get quite annoyed with the lag on YouTube, because we just don't know.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions about this topic, feel free to send them through in the comments. Hi, we've got a few familiar names there: Magnus, David, Nenad, and Axel. Welcome. It's great to have you guys. So any questions at all, even if it doesn't relate to this particular topic? David's got a comment to add. He says, "Hey guys, have some good open-ended questions." Yeah, so that's if you've got some good open-ended questions to keep conversation going as well, that should help to minimize your fears with actually starting a conversation with someone. But yeah, as James was saying, guys, the one of the biggest takeaways from the guys over the boot camp was the warm-up. Like, after we debriefed each night, the following day, so many guys were saying that warm-up was everything for me. Because if you've been sitting around all day, working, or not talking to anyone, just sitting indoors playing video games or whatever you're doing, being in your own world, and then you try and go out and be social and be outgoing and meet people, and you haven't broken out of that, got your blood moving, got your energy up, it just doesn't work. So you really need the warm-up is so huge. Please don't underestimate that. And it's amazing just by just getting your body moving, how much energy that does give you. And then even if your first approach doesn't go amazingly, you can just bounce straight back and you just keep going. You're not like, oh gosh, I'm gonna go home now. I've had enough. You don't get in your head, right? So don't underestimate that warm up. James, your image is just freezing every now and then, James.
You're slightly kidding. Thank you for the warning.
Okay.
It should be really good here. Just tell me if that happens again. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, audio is fine. It's just the video was
Okay,
glitching every now and
thanks for warning.
then. Okay, better now.
I'll just go. Okay, thanks for the warning on that. I'm in a new place. It should be much better. That's great. Hopefully I won't freeze. I might just say one thing. Guys say warm up. What does that mean? What does it do? Warm up is like a whole bunch of fuel and energy that can make you dramatically more attractive on your first approach, and your second approach and your third approach. But more importantly, from the point of view of a guy who's a world-class expert on this, because I've been taking guys, often very, very nervous guys, out in group settings to bars, bookstores, and all that sort of place for a long, long time. And yeah, it just, my first approach doesn't work, or the students are really, really tough, or the bar's virtually empty like I experienced last Friday, it's the warm-up I did beforehand that gives me sort of the fuel to keep going and fight through. So the first approach I did the last Friday, if I hadn't warmed up, those Asian girls would just blown me out quite savagely, because one of them just didn't want anything to do with me because I'm more than twice their age. But I sort of managed to hook one, but it was really just the energy I just kept pumping at them. The guy I keep getting back to, who's one of the most popular figures of my last boot camp, is Steve Irwin. I mean, the guy was just so full of energy and life. And yeah, so you want to be his sort of energy state, particularly if you're a bit of a beginner or something. We might move on to the next question. How do I get over my fears of approaching? Oh, wrong one. How do I lead without coming across as controlling or arrogant? Well, Tess, you're a former catwalk model who most guys would kill for. So yeah, now in your mid-30s, so maybe you can give your thoughts about that first.
Sure. Welcome to some of the new guys who have just joined. Hi, Jeff. So yeah, any questions you guys have, just chuck them in the comments. We'll address them straight away. We're here to help you. So how do I lead without coming across as controlling or arrogant? Okay, so this is interesting because confidence is huge, and confidence is hugely attractive to women, but when does it cross the line and come across as controlling or arrogant? So I think that it's always nice to balance things with a smile, you know, some warm energy, some genuine warmth, so that you're not just coming across as this, I think I'm the shit, I'm super sexy, I'm just, yeah, where oftentimes women will pick up on that and they'll start testing you, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, who's Mr. Confident over here who thinks he's got it all? Like, I'm not going to make this easy for him. So sometimes just a smile or some genuine warmth with your approach as well goes a long way. Remember as well, when women are making it difficult for you, if you kind of just kill them with kindness and, you know, keep warm, positive energy, it's really hard for them to keep being bitch when someone's being friendly and warm and happy. It makes them feel really bad about themselves. So and yeah, we don't like that. So yeah, smile. Yeah, obviously you want to be assertive and be direct, and that includes with your touch, etc. But yeah, warmth. James, do you want to answer that?
There's always going to be a fine line between confident and arrogant, and it's not necessarily well defined. There's a lot of gray in there. Yeah, to be honest, with women, I don't think arrogant is the worst thing in the world if you can back it up. But that obviously means you've got to be able to pass their women's test, because the second they sort of perceive you as arrogant, they're going to start poking you. Tess, just basically give me an update if I freeze at all. I might just reduce. I'm in a dramatically better place now for internet. There was a bit of rain here. I'm having good luck.
It is still freezing, James.
Okay, thank you for that. So yeah, I don't think it's the worst thing ever to come across as arrogant. You're far better off coming across as arrogant than nervous or scared or wussy. But yeah, if you do come across as arrogant, then women are going to start poking away, trying to find some holes in the arrogance. So if you just come across as, hey, how you doing? I'm James. As if, oh, I'm looking forward to meet you. Dale Carnegie, author of How to Influence People, said it better than I or anyone on the planet has ever said. A beginner stage, intermediate stage, you're I don't know, a golden retriever at a family barbecue, just running around going, this is the beginner, maybe through an intermediate stage. You just want to be super friendly and project that. Again, I keep coming back to Steve Irwin vibe. Guys hear this on YouTube live, go, what's this guy so full of shit? But yeah, it's true. You just bring them a whole bunch of warm energy and women will react dramatically better to you. And then if you add a bunch of skill to that, touch, eye contact, body language, conversation skills especially, it's extraordinary what you can accomplish. It is really simple. You just got to stop battling your ego. We need to break this down. You've got lead as in get into the conversation, make the conversation good, keep people happy. That's one thing. But then you've also got the issue of how do you lead in terms of go deeper into escalating physically and towards kissing and eventually a sexual relationship. So that's a very different thing. Escalating to leading, I mean, just approaching takes some level of skill, but actually escalating physically takes a huge amount of skill. And you've got to know what you're doing, especially in the post-Harvey Weinstein era. So yeah, it's all about touch, eye contact, body language, body positioning, having a killer date plan. I know YouTube's going to take forever, but who on this this YouTube live, apart from my clients, has a killer date plan? Tess, am I still freezing?
Yeah, you are intermittently.
Okay. What I might do.
The audio isn't freezing. It's just the image that's freezing.
Okay, if the audio is good, but I can probably fix that up. So yeah, you got to have a date plan. You got to use touch, and this is something I talk about extensively that I'm very, very proud of. If you think about, you meet a girl, and it starts at zero. So she's got zero connection with you, and she's got zero attraction to you. You haven't escalated. So what most guys do is whether they meet her through a dating app or they meet her through friends or something related to their hobbies and interests or a party they're both invited to or whatever it is, you've got enough in common to actually build some sort of connection where, you know, you're both into surfing or you're both at the same party because you got the same friends. So you build some connection. If you imagine there's a graph, sorry, my little hand movements aren't doing very, very well. I might just kick the lovely Tess off for a nanosecond. Don't throw stones at me. And so you can see that. So if you you've got a graph and you're going up like that with connection, but the problem with nearly all of you on this call is you're not actually escalating, or if you are, you're not doing it very good. This probably looks stupid. Anyway, hopefully you guys are getting it. So, but what the bad boys or the sleazy guys do is they'll sort of start touching, trying to grab her hand, maybe trying to kiss her, ask her out, aggressively, confidently approach her. So they've built attraction straight away. What they're not doing is asking good opening questions, finding out who she is, listening well. So they get a lot more girls than the nice guys, but you know, they get slapped. They often don't get the girls they want, and they could run into a bit of trouble in the 2020s. So what you want to do is you want to be connecting with the girl, and you want to be escalating and attracting her at the same time, which is sort of what we specialize in. So yeah, let's get the beautiful one back. So yeah, so that's basically how you lead without coming across as controlling or arrogant. And the closer you get, I suppose, to sex, the more skill it takes to do that very skillfully. And the more important it is in the 2020s with all the nonsense that's gone on in the world. In terms of gender relations and the extremes of whatever, the red pill, the MGTOW, and the extremes of wokeism and feminism. So you want to be somewhere in between because they've both just run far too far. That's cool. So let's just see the comments. I think we've got one from Nenad. Let me just Tess, you can handle them because I will. Thank you so much, Jeff Lawson. That name rings a bell. It could be a famous Australian cricketer that makes it ring a bell, or semi-famous Australian cricketer.
So, question from Nenad. What happens if a guy gets to a point where he doesn't have the time for a woman who makes it difficult for them anymore? Okay, cool. That's great. If you have, if you're able to be selective, that's that's great. That's great for you. And yeah, if you are time poor as well, you don't want to be wasting time on women who aren't super open. Fine, I totally understand. But again, remember that what kind of women are going to be making it more difficult? Potentially the kind of women who are high value, or they don't want to be wasting their time either, which means that they do make it more difficult in the beginning because they're trying to sift through losers quickly, right? So sometimes getting over a few of the tests or the difficulties in the very beginning doesn't actually take a long time, and you can make a breakthrough there quite quickly. And what will happen is the woman will actually respect you a lot more for that, and that can then turn into a much better prospect. So yeah, good question. I think it's important that you are somewhat selective as well. If you have the ability to be, you don't just want to be wasting your time, but also remember that getting past those initial tests or slight difficulties, it can really be worth it. So it's great to have the skill to be able to do that.
Absolutely. This is something we hear from guys constantly. Women are bitchs, women aren't nice to me. I got this girl and it's just not working out for whatever reason. The simple truth is that men assess women based on very obvious characteristics: breast size, leg length, face symmetry, skin, how clear their skin is, how thick their hair is. We've got all the lack of body fat is pretty big for us guys, whereas women have a whole different set of characteristics. They're not as interested in the physical stuff, despite all these whatever perceptions of guys being good with women as being these jacked athletes, which is, in my view, in my experience, complete nonsense. But yeah, what women do want is they want a guy who gets it. They want a guy who gets men and women. They want a guy, probably most of all, who's pre-selected in Darwinian terms by other women. So one of the ways they do that is they throw all these little tricks, games, manipulations, what I call women's tests at him, which is quite different to shit tests. So just to give you a few quick practical examples, the greatest woman in my life, I had to ask for her phone number, I can't remember, it was 14 or 16 times. It was the most popular story on an event I charged quite a lot of money for. It's literally that long. It took me that long. I could tell by her body language she was very, very interested, because we had almost a once in a lifetime connection. But she had to put me through the hurdle of literally going 14 or 16 times of asking for a number, asking for a number, asking for a number. Even when I got a number, I asked her out on a date. And she goes, "No, I'm not interested. I'm too busy. I got my exams." And I'm like, so I said, "Oh, what the hell?" Because I could read signals quite well because of my experience with women, my sales, public speaking background. I could tell she's really interested in me. I'm like, well, why is she saying no? So I just rung back about 40 minutes later and said, "Hey, I'm only in the city for a short time. I really enjoyed meeting you. Let's catch up." And then she eventually did. And yeah, anyway, we were talking for, I don't know, our first date was like 12 or 14 hours or something, and our second date was quite long and ended in sex. So I just put up this girl was from Russia, country where women are most harsh to men, particularly pathetic Australian American English men's, not proper men's. So yeah, but that's what you have to go through. I could tell. I mean, I've got a whole 2-day course on this. What's another quick one off the top of my head? Yeah, one time I was at actually we might let Tess talk because everyone wants to. You're going to get all the another one is you walk up to girls are looking over at you and they're flicking their hair. Can you do a few just give them 3 quick gestures, the hair flick over the rounded shoulder or something? Tess is amazing at this. She's back to her modeling years. They give you some of this stuff, and most American guys are like, "Is it the guy behind me? Oh, that's probably her boyfriend. shit, I better have at least 5 beers before I tackle this one. This girl's pretty hot. They've got all these excuses in our head. So yeah, some guys, you know, like me, would often do this, and we're like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm James. What's your name? And then what's happened to me many, many times after a girl threw obvious signals at me is she just freaking rejected me. I'm like, well, what are you sending signals then rejecting me for? Can anyone in the crowd tell me? Or the audience, whatever you call it on YouTube. It's going to take too long. The reason is she wanted to know if I had the brains and the social intelligence and the experience with women and the pre-selection of other attractive women to realize that if she's doing that a few times and I come over, she's got me over for a reason. So if she rejects me, it's quite likely a test, a woman's test, to see if I get it. She's signaled me over out of all the other people at the party, and then she rejects me. It's just to see whether I'm the one who gets it. I've got a video on YouTube that got quite a lot of views where it turned out they're Eastern European again, where I just stood like a statue for maybe 30 seconds at a very popular upmarket Australian bar, and eventually they came around and talked to me. And then the girl was testing my client to go out on a double date with them because he was with her friend. So yeah, there's all these little games women throw at you. So in direct answer to Nanad's question, what happens if a guy gets to a point where he doesn't have the time for women who make it difficult for them anymore? I think that's very sad because women are always going to make it difficult for you. They need to know at all times that you're the man, and that so they can be the woman. That's what the majority of women, at least prior to the last 20 years of complete nonsense between the genders, that's what most or all women want. So yeah, they are going to make it difficult. I probably said this before, but you know, 97-year-old Dave who married 95-year-old Clarice, she's still, this is probably worth a swear word on YouTube, she's still fucking little games and tests for him to see if he's a man and to just prod him to make sure he's okay. And the reason women do that is because, you know, if we start dating a girl who's whatever, 60 kilos, 5'10", great body, and then for some reason she ups that to 85. Sorry for the Americans. What's that? I don't know, 140 pounds up to, who knows, 190 pounds. We're like, what the hell is going on here? We got a sexy woman. Now look at you. And women are the same. They're like, well, what happened to you, you wimp? Grow up. So men think women want this sort of cage fighter archetype who makes $1 million a month, $1 million a quarter in his hedge fund. Whereas what they really want is they want a guy who is a man and understands women. Hope that was really useful for a very good question then, Ed. Let's just go to the questions. Really good one from Ben. I quite like that. I'm trying to do it in the wrong one. Okay, I've got to get rid of the banners. And I've got to go to the comments. Oh, he's done it. He pulled it off. Then I'd push back on that one. Tell us your age. That's quite interesting. Saw a doco the other day on Charlie Mason. Apparently he got quite a good deal of attractive pussy, that man. He certainly could get them to murder people for him. So I'm guessing he was pretty good with women, as I'm supposing many cult leaders are. He loved the book, How to Influence People, the book. I imagine anyone who's achieved anything in life, and Charles Manson achieved stuff in life, it just wasn't very good stuff. Yeah, it's possibly the best book of all time. It's certainly closer to it. Sorry for any religious freaks who think the Bible or the Quran or something, or what's the Jewish one called? Oh, the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, I mean they probably are, but yeah, I think that's certainly up there. Awesome. So, any comments on Charlie Sheen loving that book, Tess?
Charlie Manson, yeah. Yeah, how to win friends and influence people. Well, he was definitely good at influencing people, so he picked up a couple of things. But yeah, obviously, yeah, I actually haven't read this book, James, to be honest. It's on my list, so I'm actually going away next week. I might pick up this book and read it while I'm away.
I'm happy to jump into my Amazon account and flick it through to you. Just say the word. It'll be a tax deduction for me as well. Okay, let's get back to Jeff. Jeff Lawson. I'm better looking. Lola, I'm better looking.
And the other Jeff Lawson, the cricketer. I think it's like laughing.
Okay. Oh, the cricketer. Gotcha. Looking. What's next? Gorgeous looking girls don't intimidate me. Oops, he's screwed up. Gorgeous looking girls don't intimidate me. That's one of the biggest assets of all. I don't know. Anyway, I had a horrible, abusive childhood, and as crazy insecurities, despite being a really successful guy by most people's metrics. But I dated a girl I thought was the most beautiful girl in the world that I'd certainly seen with my own two eyes. And so that, and the fact I gave her, many orgasms, and we fell madly in love. That sort of healed a lot of my insecurities around women. And the fact that I got her and gave her a bunch of orgasms and we were in love, it sort of desensitized me to a large degree to beautiful women, much more so than had been before, much more so than the rest of the population. And then through some time living in New York and studying acting and some time in Eastern Europe, I got exposed to that level of girl that just most men shit themselves. So yeah, that was a great, not being intimidated by beautiful women is one of the best things you can ever have. Okay, wrong one. He's screwed that up. And what's the next question? I'm 58 and divorced. Where are we? In terms of my age, I just turned 46 recently. I've got to talk more about that. I mean, women are difficult creatures. I mean, they're constantly trying to make sure you're a man. They're constantly setting traps for you. They're emotional. They're up and down like a yo-yo, even the best ones. So yeah, if you want to have happiness in relationships with women, there's going to be some problems. And if you don't want to deal with that, then you should possibly learn to love the taste of penis, because that's a really good alternative if you want to have relationships with human beings that don't involve some difficulties. I'm sure those guys have their own difficulties, like Nobel Prize winning promiscuity, and probably hard to get into longer term relationships to deal with. But yeah, women are always going to be difficult. Even the greatest women of all will probably give you some difficulties at some point. And again, it's just that they've got all these hormones going through their body that us men just can't begin to understand or appreciate. So what's the word? Thou shalt walk in another Indian's moccasins before thou judge. But yeah, the idea is to get a woman who's beautiful, intelligent, you got a lot in common with, who's a bit lower on the crazy scale. And you get some who are just quite marginal. Then you get some who just make Amber Heard look like, who's the most sane person I can think of? The Dalai Lama or something. So yeah, I've had at least one or two of them myself, but I usually know when to take off. Okay. Okay, here's another comment. Got to change my profile photo. We've shared the dating apps scam might be going a little bit far. Oh, we've got one of our boot camp guys from last week, Glenn, on. He's Axel something or other. I'll read that soon. Hello, Glenn. Love you, Glenn. In 6 months, this will be my first 60-something absolute lethal weapon with women. That's my hope and hopefully a prediction. I've got 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, even teens back a while ago. I've turned these guys into complete weapons with threesomes and models and, society girls and these poor blue collar guys and all this stuff. But yeah, I haven't really put a 60-year-old into the stratosphere yet. So I hope that it's going to be Glenn. In terms of trying to get anything out of internet dating, if you look at the share price of Match.com, thanks to a regular on these, Luke, he alerted me to it. It peaked in 2016, and then Bumble came along. I think did an okay job for a year or two, but it's at the situation now where it's bordering on a scam, and they're just trying to squeeze a few more dollars out of a dead business model. Instagram just wiped them out, plus changes in culture. So yeah, any guys who are still sort of swiping away on apps thinking it's going to lead to anything other than a hookup with some dreadful looking girl who looks nothing like her photos, if you think you're going to get a decent girlfriend out of it, I mean, you're buying lotto tickets hoping to get rich. It's not a great strategy. And even more so than that, the apps are designed to get, just like a Vegas slot machine, to give you little bits of, oh, you had a win there, you had a win there, you had a win there, you had a win there. I've coached a lot of AI guys and some company founders, and yeah, it's not, in 225, it's not a very good way to spend your time, particularly if you make great money. Okie dokie. Tess, let me know if the freezing is still an issue.
No, it's definitely much better now.
I don't know why that is. I didn't plug in because I thought the internet here was so fantastic. We might start with the lovely Tess. Why do women lose interest fast, and how do I keep momentum going?
Yeah. Why do they lose interest fast? Okay. So if you're not able to keep, if things go well in the beginning, you've built a strong first impression, then hopefully she would have opened up to you, and she might pick up some of the slack if you're not leading things well. But yeah, why might they lose interest? Okay, if you start stealing the spotlight too early, she's probably going to lose interest. So if you approach a woman and you're having a conversation with her, and then you just start speaking about yourself, which is something that happens so commonly. Guys think they have to impress a woman with what they know, what they've done on it, and talk about the topics that they know about. And oftentimes a woman will just be like, oh my God, this guy's come over to talk to me, and now he's just, I don't know, I don't want to listen to his story about whatever, his job or whatever it is. So yes, that's often a reason why women will lose interest. But also, if you're not asking engaging questions and actually paving the way for her to talk about something she wants to talk about, she's probably going to lose interest as well. So how do I keep the momentum going? Conversation skills. And also, again, if you're layering on top of that, escalation and building sexual tension, then yeah, that's obviously non-verbally she's going to be interested anyway. So so conversation definitely is huge. Don't steal the spotlight. You've got to understand what questions to be asking, but also listening so that you have the power to direct the conversation using what you're given. Yeah, and then and also keeping her interested with actually creating some physical attraction as well.
Good stuff, Tess. I mean, the core. Why do women lose interest fast? How do I keep the momentum going? The core thing is women in America, Australia, Canada, England, Holland, Germany, all the Nordic countries, they've really been screwed by the modern world because men are so passive, so useless. We're so scared of women that if you're over 6 foot, or you dress half good, or you've got an okay job, or you're even someone their friends know, they can get excited quickly. Oh, here's an okay guy. But most of us are so completely useless and so attached to this idea we're going to be this height, this job, this car, this muscles, this size penis, this level of body fat. I mean, so many guys pursuing these goals relentlessly. It's almost complete nonsense in terms of what women actually want. So women can get attracted to that stuff. It's not even attracted, they can notice that stuff initially, but then you got to have the skills to back it up. Because, I mean, Tess, in terms of the hottest guys you can imagine now in their 50s, where was the student on the last boot camp? Like 1 in 500 or something? I mean, if you got guys aged 50 to 60, how many guys would be as hot as that to women? 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000, is that fair?
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah, so the guy's not in the top 1%, he's in the top 0.5% or even 0.2% of guys aged 50 to 60. He was completely clueless with women, more so than some of the sort of nerdy slightly autistic guys. Like, he's completely clueless with women because of our culture, and because probably since he was 16 or 14 or 13, girls have just picked him up, and the guys just had some of the most toxic relationships ever. So I kept saying this over and over again on last week's boot camp. You guys look at these guys, go, oh, he must have it made. It must be so easy for that guy. He's tall and handsome and makes decent money, and he's got a great body, and he's got a cool job and all that. But yeah, he's probably suffered more pain than 99% of the guys who sitting around jerking off to you porn or whatever the hell you guys jerk off to anymore. So yeah, you've just got to have the skills. You've got to have the skills. It's not just enough to capture a woman's interest. You've got to maintain it. You've got to connect with her, and you've got to attract her. You got to connect with her, and you got to attract her. You got to connect with her, you got to attract her. You got to meet with her, you got to meet her, you got to connect with her, you got to attract her, and then you got to sort of turn it into a sexual relationship. So how you do that, it's just the same thing we ramble on about: touch, eye contact, body language, reading signals, dressing well, having a date plan, having some understanding of women's psychology and Tess, which is Tess's number one. Being somewhat confident in bed, and most importantly, elite level conversation skills. So that's how you do it. It's a gradual escalation in conversation and physical touch, body positioning. That's how you keep the momentum going. Having good open-ended questions and listening well is a huge part of that, up to the point where you want to start making things a bit more sexual, in which case you need, extremely skillful touch and be able to escalate the touch. So there's some questions coming through. Axel, can you manage the questions, please?
So from Axel, guys, I have several times in life come across the 5-second rule, which has certainly helped me overcome approach anxiety with women. So further to that, the idea is that if you see a woman you like, you should approach immediately, which prevents you from overthinking and stops the anxiety from building to an immobilizing level. So yeah, I think the 5-second rule is like you count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just go. I definitely agree with that to an extent, especially if you know that you are a person who has the tendency to overthink things, and all that negative self-talk that stops you, where you're like, oh, she probably has a boyfriend, oh, I don't look good, I don't feel good, this is gonna not go well, all of that stuff. Yes, I think that if you're that type of person, then absolutely just go, and especially if you've warmed up. This is the thing, if you've done a warm-up and you've got good energy and you're feeling good and you're ready to get out there, then you don't think about things. You see the opportunity and you just take it. So again, going back to that warm-up, super important. It really makes the 5-second rule just feel intuitive, right? But yeah, within the 5-second rule as well, sometimes it is clever to maybe think about what direction you might approach from, or a couple of little logistical things that can help as well. So if you've got the energy and things are going well, just go for it. And if you've got a second to quickly assess a couple of logistics, then that is also worth doing, I think. Sometimes if women are seated, you have to think about where you're going to position yourself, or if it's a group of women, which angle you're going to take, like where's the best opening so that you can be a part of that group as well. James, did you want to comment on that as well?
Yeah, it's not ideal, it's not perfect, but in terms of a beginner who hasn't had any training, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid basics. It's like it'll get you to there, but it won't get you to there. And it won't get you anywhere near there. Because what you really need to be able to do is to read the signals and see what the situation is. If you just see a girl and just run up to her, it's very much a cold approach. Now, what you'll realize if you do a hell of a lot of cold approaches is much harder to get dates and sex off a complete cold approach than it is what I call an invited approach. That's where you see an opportunity and you take advantage of it. Particularly if you can get the girl to actually start noticing you, which is something we teach on boot camps. So particularly in daytime, you can see a girl, and that might not be a very good time to approach her, because she could be sort of face to face with a friend, she could be on her phone, she could be caught up in the moment. So you want to sort of read her facial expressions, read her body language. It's not just a case of, oh, long legs, big boobs, thick hair, big lips, approach. Better than nothing, much better than nothing. And not to, if you're never going to sort of invest in any decent training, that's probably not too bad a rule. But you're just going to get a lot of rejections, a lot of blowouts, a lot of hardship. So what you want to do is, as Tess alluded to, try to be in a situation where you've warmed up, or you're feeling good and you haven't been stuck on your computer all day, stressed out. Try to make sure that's happening. But sort of step one is whatever the 5-second rule, or 3-second rule, or 10-second rule, whatever you want to call it. But step two is to actually learn to read a woman's signals, which most men are just completely dreadful, awful, transcendently awful, shocking, horrendously bad. I'm running out of adjectives. Contemptibly awful at. It's just, they just can't do it. And this is one of the huge advantages that guys who can read signals have. And I'm looking for great titles for my YouTube videos. I've looked at a lot of female dating coaches, and yeah, some of their stuff is good, but some of their stuff's not good. So you're going to be very, very careful where you get information from. The thing about reading signals is, I may have told this story before, but it's a really good story. When I had 2 bi girlfriends, I was bringing some more girls to them, and they were a hell of a lot younger than me. We had a lot of sex. I sort of thought I was, kind of, say, Jesus Christ with women. I thought I was pretty bloody good with women, and I was at that stage. And I worked in a sort of a big co-working space, and there was a girl there who was pretty hot, early 30s, really smart, sort of girl who'd usually pay quite a bit of attention to me, because I was about 40, 41 at this stage. And she'd constantly just play with her hair like that. And she's sitting talking to me, playing with my hair. I'm like, yeah, she likes me. She likes me. She's crazy about me. She's crazy about me. Because I probably had a bit of a big head at that point. And then I saw her sitting talking to maybe the ugliest guy in the whole co-working space. No offense to him. I won't describe why he was so ugly, but much older, much less everything. Couldn't dress to save himself. She's sitting talking to him, and she's still doing that. And I saw her over at her computer just working, and she's sitting at her desk just doing that. So you got to be able to read the signals, because one signal does not necessarily mean she wants to suck your willy. It just means there's one signal there. So it's like someone who can't speak English, you don't hear the word fuck and assume there's 2 people having sex. There could be a lot of other uses of the word fuck. So you've got to be able to read the signals. So yeah, anyway, are we still seeing 5-second rule?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, for beginners, for guys who never do any training, that'll get you started. Be careful in the post-Harvey Weinstein era, it doesn't get you in trouble. If you've got some okay conversation skills and you go up with a good energy, you could get in trouble, but it's less likely than if you're sort of a sleazy pickup artist. So much better than nothing. But the next level, and the level that will get you quick results and time efficient results, is to read a woman's signals. Do you want to move on to the next one, Tess?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Reading signals is huge. So,
I might just, sorry, can you, that's a great question. One of the things that will happen is when you start to get good and girls feel it, is I've had girls throwing, like really attractive girls throwing horrendously blatant signals at me, and I go up to them and go, hey, how you doing? And sometimes they'll blow me out really bad. Sometimes they'll sort of tease me and play with me. And then at the end, I'm giving you bad news about women. At the end of the day, it turns out she's married. She's crazy about her hubby. She's got like 12 carats on her finger. I remember one sort of wife of a Bonds salesman in New York. Who they make absurd amounts of money, or at least did at that time. And yeah, she'll just play with you for half an hour, and then you ask her out, you try to best her. She says, no, I'm married. He's a Bond salesman for Morgan Stanley, and he's 6'4", and he plays polo, and he used to play college basketball, and he's magnificent. And you're like, okay, well, why'd you attract me over? I just want to still know I've got it with the confident guys like you. So women will play a lot of games with you just for their own amusement. As I said, what's the stats? I'm just making these up, but they're close. There's like 2% of women who use dating apps for hookups. There's 0% or 0.1% who use it for serious relationships, boyfriends. And I don't know, ask AI or Google this. And it's like 93% who use it for entertainment or for self-validation about how they're worthwhile. Can you imagine a guy sitting there just swiping through apps going, she likes me, that ugly girl likes me, that ugly girl likes me, that ugly girl likes me. I don't know, maybe some guys do, but certainly none of my friends. But women do that because they're very different animals to us men. Sorry, we'll get back to the question for Tess.
Yeah, Jeff is asking, what is classified as dressing well? Okay, dressing well is about, this isn't about, wearing a suit and being overdressed. Dressing well is about wearing clothes that fit you well, that are understated, as in like you don't want to be trying too hard, but basically clothes that the only judgment a woman will make is that guy, yeah, he's well dressed. He looks, it's there aren't any red flags, right? So what is a red flag? Anything that's like costumey, over the top, trying to create personality out of what you're wearing rather than just actually having a personality and letting your charisma take the lead. So that can be a red flag, definitely. Or also just trying too hard. So if you're, depends what venue you're at, but if you're overdressed and it looks like you've put a lot of effort into your outfit, for wherever you're going, then she knows straight away, okay, this guy is desperate, or he's trying really hard to impress, which it doesn't make you look good. Just to keep it simple, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Colors, you've got to think about what colors complement your skin tone. For a lot of like Caucasians, I would say avoid like red sort of tones that highlight red in your complexion, which isn't the most attractive thing. Think about what eye color you have. Oftentimes, if you can, bring out, your eye color, that can work well for you. But generally speaking, for men, darker blue, black, like grey blues, some greens, more like winter tones are the best bet. Yeah. For a Caucasian. If you have darker skin, you sometimes you can get away with more with other colors as well, like more like maroni type colors. But again, I would say that the safest bet is just those warmer, like winter colors, in the blues, blues, grays, like bluey grays, black. Just keep it simple. And
that's great. I might just add some points there. One of the biggest problems that guys have is they get a divorce, they buy the red sports car, they try to pretend they're 22 again when they're 45 or 51. They get their teeth whitened, they try to dress like a rapper or something. They just try so hard. And one of the things you got to understand, I hope this doesn't border on racism, is white men, especially if you're educated, you're not cool. You're just not cool. And Asian men, sorry, you're just not cool. Some of you might be, there might be one or two, but you're generally not cool. And because of the massive influence of African Americans on culture, on companies like Nike, on all the sporting companies, on rappers, a lot of guys 40 and over will take the fashions of, if you like, the African American movement that are disseminated down through music videos and movies and Nike and Reebok and whoever else. and they just try to look like a black guy. And it's just like, you look ridiculous, dude. You're some boring white guy with 2 degrees. So try to dress appropriate for who you are. Now, there could be some guys like a legit musician or something. And you can sort of dress cool and go a bit sort of Johnny Depp or whatever. But most guys who are programmers who try to dress like they're a rock star, they just don't pull it off. You just don't pull it off. And that's a big thing with the pickup artists where, you know, I wear the bangles and the bracelet and the flashing light and the stupid hat and the big stupid shoes. But yeah, you look like Gene Simmons in Kiss or something. It's just like, it just doesn't work. You got to dress to suit your personality and your stage in life. You want to dress boring. The idea of good style, this is something we help our clients with crazy, is that the colors suit you, the fit suits you. How can I ask Tess what's classified as dressing well? It needs to fit your body beautifully. It needs to be the tailored look, and that makes girls think, oh my God, that guy's probably rich. Little anecdote with me, for any of you are familiar with Bondi Beach, there's probably one of the world's more famous outdoor gyms there. And there are some of the hottest guys you have ever seen in your life. Like, not 6 packs, they've got like 18 packs, perfect pecs, perfect biceps, because there's a bunch of guys, they spend their whole day there doing whatever dips and pull-ups and sit-ups and stuff. Just magnificent looking men, quite a few fighters and stuff. But a lot of them dressed like homeless people. They've got these board shorts and some yucky singlet that doesn't match, and then they got these magnificent bodies, but they got these saggy bum nappy board shorts or something, or tracksuit pants. And then I go there, this skinny little retarded big nosed grey beard guy, and I get a lot of the attention from girls. It's like, how is this possible? That dude's 15 years younger than me, and he is magnificent. What are you looking at me or trying to talk to me for? You silly woman. Look at that guy. He's beautiful. So yeah, women look at the way you dress. They don't. I've asked a whole bunch of girls. Most of them don't care about biceps. They might care about your buttocks and your abs, because that's what puts your what's in and out of them really fast or really skillfully. But they're not really that fussed about biceps. They want you to dress well. Men want youth, beauty, fertility. So we love bodies. Women want positions in social status and the ability to work up social status hierarchies quickly. So they want a guy who's beautifully dressed with a tailored look in colors that suit. Sorry about that rant. Hopefully it provided amazing value to all of you who joined. And guys have to get this shit through their head. Guys have to get this shit through their head. If I was coaching women, I'd say, guys don't care about the fact that it's Louis Vuitton or Chanel. That's going to make a lot of rich guys run away, because they're going, sorry, BITCH, I ain't paying for that shit. I'll F you 3 or 4 times, maybe 10 times if you're good in the sack, but you ain't never going to be Mrs. Right for me. You're not wife material, because I ain't paying for that stupid Louis Vuitton logo for you. So yeah, women think guys want designer labels and beautiful outfits and beautiful shoes. We don't. We just want firm boobs, long legs, thick hair, symmetrical features, and a girl who's not a bitch. Is anyone going to disagree with me? If I had a bunch of women here, they'd probably say the same thing about men's bodies. That's not to suggest they're not attracted to a guy who's really healthy with high testosterone. They are, but you don't need gigantic muscles to get that. You just need to clean up your diet, do some detoxes and stuff. Just quickly, I had 2 bi girlfriends, about 41, and I got my testosterone levels tested, and I'd been a vegan for a long time at that point. And my testosterone for my age was like, it was nearly as high as you can get. And I just said to the doctor, this is absurd. I haven't touched a weight since the Clinton presidency. The Clinton presidency, no, it's an exaggeration. I hadn't touched a weight since early 2000s, the Bush presidency. And I've got this high testosterone. It's like nuts. It's just because I was much healthier than the average guy. Okie dokie, what's the next question?
Nenad says, I'm not scared of women. If anything, I'm probably just a bit annoyed with women leaving me with the perception that they give me some bullshit excuse in order to not go out even for a friendly drink. Okay, so what I'm gathering from that is you're not scared of women, but sometimes women give, what do you think is bullshit excuses to not go out for a friendly drink with you. So yeah, again, if like I'd say if you're trying to ask a woman out on a date and she's being politely saying no by making an excuse, it's probably just because she doesn't want to say no, leave me alone. So yeah, why if you're getting annoyed at women not wanting to go on a date with you, it's probably because you haven't set that up very skillfully. So yeah. Yeah. What most of the time women, unless you've been really sleazy or rude or something, she will think of a polite way to say no, if she doesn't want to go on the date. So yeah, it will come across as a bullshit excuse. But that's just her trying to be polite. So I wouldn't get annoyed at that. I would probably get annoyed that you don't have, that they're not saying yes or being excited about going on this date with you. So yeah, there's yeah, James mentioned date planning earlier. Potentially you haven't come up with a date plan or sold that date plan in a way that actually gets her excited to do this with you, or you haven't built enough rapport and attraction in the lead up to actually asking for the date. So yeah, this is probably a few puzzle pieces here that need to come together. But yeah, great. It's great that you're not scared of women. That's a great starting point. Really, really good. Yeah, it sounds like approach anxiety is not your issue. It's more just the skill with connecting, building attraction, and actually securing dates.
That's huge. That's good news. I know if women leaving the protection is some bullshit excuse. The other thing is, on average, men are, what's it, 60 or 65% stronger in the upper body, and I think it's 50% stronger in the legs or something. So, or 40% stronger in the legs. So, yeah, women are scared of us. So, and historically, violence against women was a huge part of men and women interacting. So they were attracted to a guy who could brutally injure them. So they've come up with very subtle, sometimes manipulative or sneaky ways to get what they want from men without ever triggering violence. So if I walk up to a girl and say, "Hey, you're beautiful," build some rapport. I think you're really cool. Will you go out with me? She's going to go, "I'm sorry, I'm just not attracted to old men with big noses and uncool glasses who need to wash their hair." And I'm not attracted to you. They're just not going to say that because it might be perceived as mean. They'll just come up with some sort of excuse. The most common one is, "Oh, I've got a boyfriend." But hypothetically, if Nenad's met them on dating apps or something, I mean, again, as I just said, a lot of the girls are on there for entertainment. It's like, "Oh, he likes me. He likes me. He likes me. He likes me." We're playing video games, so they're sitting on the dating app getting validation. So I've told this story before, but there's a girl I was having sex with who I was never going to be in a relationship with, but she was fun. She was smart. She was very, very sexual, had a nice body. And we're sitting just having lunch or coffee together, and just her phone's going off. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh. And I was getting a bit, "Why are you texting your phone when you're with me?" She goes, "Oh, it's just some guy I met." And then she's like, "Oh, why are you texting with me? It's a bit disrespectful." And she goes, "Oh, it's nothing serious." I said, "Well, but why would you text some guy you're never going to see again?" "Oh, it's just fun, I guess." And this was a pretty high value girl. So yeah, women think dating is entertainment. Watch any of their TV shows or movies. So the bullshit excuse could simply be a way to say, "Sorry, Nenad, I'm just not attracted to you, but I'm too scared and too polite to tell you this. So I come up with some excuse like I've got to wash my hair, or my dog needs to go to the vet, or it's busy at work." The other sub story is you've got some very high value girl and you're perceived as a high value guy, and she's just going to stuff you around a bit before she goes out with you. I mean, I've said this probably half a dozen times on these things. If I get a date with a legit model who's actually represented by a major agency, and I ask her out, no matter how much connection I build, no matter how much the girl I think perceived likes me, she's probably not going to show up on the first date. It's just not going to happen. That's her first woman's test she throws at me. I'm going to stand you up and see if you're cool with it and you know what to do, or you chuck a huff and say, "You've got no disrespect for my time. Do you know how many people work for me? You're such a disrespectful person. Yeah, it's just women play all these games with men that men have no idea about. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Tess, you're quiet all of a sudden.
Sorry, I muted myself. My neighbors were just making a lot of noise there, so I muted myself. But yeah, sorry, Paul was just agreeing with what you were saying there. James, I thought I'd put that up, that women do like to play a lot of mind games. So guys, yeah, remember early dating, women get nervous as well. So some of it's not all just mind games, you know, sometimes they flake because they're nervous. They don't feel like they look good enough or whatever it is. Yeah, we're human beings too. Okay.
Sorry, Jackie and I did a video about that on YouTube. It's really good. I should know it off the top of my head if I was a proper YouTuber. She's got a zit. She's got a bad period. She had a bad hair day. A girl often flake on you if she had a bad hair day. I've quite a few times in my life watched a girl who I was dating get ready for a date with a girl, and the amount of I watched a couple of ex-buddies, girlfriends got get ready for a date in a little bit of at once. The amount of energy they go to for a date, it's like, you know, I just have a shower and wear basically what I am now with clothes that fit. And they've got this sort of hour and a half, 2 hour rigmarole. And it could just be one thing, and they'll stand you up, particularly if they really like you. So yeah, you got people think people think it's a beautiful woman. They go, oh, she's just super confident, bitch. She just eats men alive. The most beautiful women in most cases are the most insecure because they never really understand what people want from them. They're used to being used and manipulated and taken advantage of for their beauty. So yeah, women are a dramatically more complicated creature than men. We're like, I don't know, 7 plus 8 equals 15, and they're like particle physics. So they're like with the little tiny physics. They're so much more complicated than men. It's not even funny. Next question.
Yeah. So Ralph asks, hi Tess and James, would you say a guy should always ask a woman for her number, or is it less intrusive in most cases if he gives her his number instead? Okay, so I would say definitely get her number. If you're, if you're just wanting to leave the ball completely in her court, then yeah, you can give her your number, but it gives you zero power after that. Zero power. So, you know, if you're trying to chase up a lead or whatever, or work on that lead, it's how you don't have any chance of doing that. And so you're really relying on the fact that your initial interaction went really, really well. So if you're super, super, super skillful and you're really confident in that, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to waste my time chasing up leads. I just want to be, yeah, I know that what I'm doing for in terms of rapport building attraction, and yeah, that early interaction is really good. Then yeah, maybe I'll just give her my number, and then I'll just let whoever, you know, whoever contacts me, that's great. I know that they're interested. Cool, that can work. But if if that's not you, then you should definitely be getting the number. Again, you know, when you ask for a number, if you've sold your date plan, if you've built rapport and authentic connection, and highlighted that connection to her, and yeah, and created a strong impression in that interaction, then getting her number and being assertive with that, and then following up and having a plan and being the decision maker in terms of date planning, that's actually attractive to a woman. So yeah, you know, women, we don't we do rely on men to make that first move and to ask us out on dates. Like it's just the way society's kind of shaped us, but it's quite embarrassing for women to have to make the first move or to ask you out on a date if you've just given her your number and you're expecting her to do that. It's yeah, it's just we still expect men to be doing that. So definitely get her number.
Thanks, Tess. That was great. Every other male mammal nearly needs to fight or form coalitions of other men and fight. Many seals, antelope, deer with the big thingies, they will fight to the death for the chance to mate with one woman. And us white guys from, America or Germany, we're worried about getting the number. So yeah, if you want to do better with women, you'll learn these skills that Tess and I crap on about constantly. You just got to be a man. You got to be prepared to go after what you want and go after it with purpose and skill and desire, and you'll find you do really well. So yeah, in most cases, you got to ask for a number, but a number, since you could see a number coming up. When was that? That was like the 90s, was it? Where someone would ring you and you'd see the number coming up and all the media is saying, oh, the world's come to an end. People are going to know who's calling them. It's Armageddon. It's crisis. What's happening to the world? Privacy, blah, 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 blah. Now we're just so used to it. It's not funny. So yeah, you got to be a man. You got to take charge. But the idea that you get this number is such a terrible metric for you. It's such a terrible thing because it might not follow through if you're unless you're a really attractive guy. So yeah, you've got to get the number, but beyond the number, and this is something we're maniacal about, that is, I don't know, it's the third most popular unit, probably one of the most important units in our course, is date planning, dating and escalation masterclass. We did a boot camp there, and like 3 or 4 guys out of the 14 didn't watch it, and I told them off. I was very angry at them. What did you come all this way? What did you come all this way for? Without doing your homework. So yeah, you got to have a date plan. You got to have a really good date plan, and you got to sell it to the woman. That's going to be dramatically better than you're trying to get her number and then follow up and have mad text game. Like there's probably courses selling you your mad text game. So yeah, you get her number, but the number should just be an accounting detail at the end where you picture whatever your date plan is. I haven't done this for a while, but when I was really promiscuous, and I wasn't the only person doing this, if I met a girl I really liked and I wanted to stop screwing around with texting, I might get the girl's number, and be super confident and give her a hug and everything else. Go, oh cool, well just give me a text when you're free and we'll try to sort something out. So can anyone tell me why I did that? I don't get the answers back quick enough. The reason I did that is I don't want to screw around chasing girls up, and because I had more than enough sewing machine action with young ladies on the go at once, I thought, well, yeah, I'd love to add you to whatever, my roster or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm just not going to try too hard for it. So yeah, you can follow me up, and that can save a lot of work. But this is probably at a level well beyond most of the guys who are spending this Sunday on YouTube Live. That might not be something I came up with originally, but it's something I used and it worked. It works very well for a promiscuous guy just wanting no hassle dates and sex. But that's probably not a lot of the guys over 40 or 40 to 65, unless you just got out of a horrible relationship. You've already done the kids thing and you want to play the field for a while like you wish you did in your 20s or 30s. And we get quite a few clients like you. So happy to make you guys some crazy stud in your 50s or 60s, but that's a smaller part of our market. Most of you just want the woman of your dreams who's not Amber Heard batshit crazy. Questions? Tess?
Sorry, I muted myself again. I have this massive I don't know, there's a bug that's really noisy and it's it's really big and it's buzzing around. So sorry guys,
What is it?
distracting me. I don't know. It seems really clumsy, like a Christmas beetle, but it's really big, and it seems a bit early for Christmas beetles.
How big?
Like that big. Oh. Yeah, it's buzzing around. So if you can hear it, yeah, don't mind that. And yeah, sorry, I get distracted every now and then because I think it's going to fly into my head. But let's see the next question from Luke. This was touching on some of the style stuff we were talking about. Is a black V-neck shirt and chinos a good casual outfit? James, seems to work well for you. Yeah, I would say that is. So again, you just want it to be fitted. You want it to be fitting you well. And chinos, what are chinos? Oh my God, here comes the beetle. Chinos, you know those chinos that like taper in at the ankle and like elasticated at the ankle? I hate those. I hate those. So no, don't wear those. But yeah, don't wear those. Just yeah, I suppose chinos, but probably denim, like a dark denim, black or dark gray or like dark indigo blue. They can pair well with a lot of different colors, and also they're easy to dress up for more of like a smart casual look. So yeah, or yeah, it depends what kind of chinos is what I'm saying. So I don't want to say just yes to this, but yeah, black V-neck shirt and yeah, some of those kind of pants that I described would be fine for a casual outfit, and you know, a typical first date sort of outfit, that'd be fine. Or yeah, or if you're going out trying to approach as well, that sounds fine to me. James, do you want to add to that?
I don't like them. That's my Pauline Hanson impersonation from the 90s. I don't want Asian people in my country. They work too hard and they build the economy and they run great shops and they don't cause any violence or trouble. No, I don't want them here. I don't want them here. My name's Pauline Hanson. I'm a redhead fish shop opener who doesn't like Asian people. Anyway, enough of my Pauline Hanson jokes. I don't like chinos. From memory, you're a financial controller of a sizable company. Which means you're an accountant. You might be an extremely accomplished accountant. Sorry if I disrespected you there. So you don't want to dress like some boring guy who makes a bunch of money with the Ralph Lauren polo shirt and the chinos and the deck shoes and the Rolex or the Omega. You're just such a boring cliche. So when I go on a date, I want to look like the most stylish guy she's ever met in jeans and a t-shirt. So I never ever, the only time I'm not wearing jeans is I'm wearing a suit, which doesn't happen very often. So yeah, I don't really have any it's too small. I don't really have any space between there. So chinos, say 2 degrees, probably makes some pretty good money. He's boring. He plays golf. Maybe he sails. And he reads lots of business biographies. And yeah, he's probably crap in bed. He's probably had attractive girlfriends before if he's successful enough, but he's got really no idea about women. So it's playing into such a cliche. So you want to touch on a bit of the bad boy thing. These are all my views. So I tend to go as casual as possible. Sneakers, jeans, V-neck's good. I've got some really beautiful bamboo t-shirts I can wear. Sometimes if I really want to make an impression, I might hide my skinny little spindly arms. Actually, I'll get rid of the beautiful one and show off my skinny little spindly arms. Remove Tess for a second. I got these pathetic little twig arms, which are much worse now because I was in a wheelchair for a while. If I decide I want to hide them, I do have quite wide shoulders and not too bad a bum, I'm told, possibly because of all the in-out I've done. Lots of it, lots and lots of in-out, the sewing machine in-out. So good bum, nice wide shoulders, thin waist, but sticky little arms. So you got to understand what your proportions are. You got to understand what your colors are. You need to understand how women perceive you. I'm not saying you do this, Luke, but you never want to be the rich guy in the Ferrari or the Lambo with the $200,000 Rolex and Versace Sport. It's just such a walking cliche. So If you are a very successful white collar professional guy, executive by the sounds of it for you, I would just go jeans and a t-shirt, keep it super plain, but make sure it fits you. Make sure it fits you. That's basically no student is allowed to do our boot camp until he's done a style consult with Tess and the models, and I'll have a look too. We will not even take you on the boot camp, no matter how much money we're paid, until you've done that, simply because when we dress guys appropriately with all the stuff I've told you and a bunch more, then it just makes it so much easier for them to approach, and it's less problems on a boot camp with some guy getting rejected over and over again, or maybe causing us a problem in the post-Harvey Weinstein era that we don't want to deal with. So we didn't have one report of a harsh rejection in the last boot camp, did we? And we had guys in their 60s. We had, some pretty potentially borderline autistic people, as we usually do, the super smart guys. I'm probably autistic, as you can tell. So yeah, I would definitely not do chinos. I'd need to see you in them, and need to see the environment you wore them in. But yeah, you want to be bad boy, not successful corporate guy, because that just sort of puts women's innards to sleep generally. Tess, have you or your girlfriends come across some hedge fund manager or surgeon or private equity guy or very successful accountant or something, or I don't know, any guy of that who's like a killer in bed?
No.
Because they don't exist. They're too busy making money to buy the Ferrari and the big house, thinking if I build it, she will come. No, that's the preserve of guys who are generally losers who are good in bed, because they've put enough time in, out, lots of different girls, try different positions, ask me what's going on. We've put enough time into trying to get better at FUCKINGing to actually be somewhere. So yeah, you want to be the bad boy, not the successful corporate guy, because that just gets you gold diggers who aren't very good if you've got a high net worth, especially with our legal system. So no chino. That was a very long-winded way of saying no chinos, starting off with my Pearl enhanced impersonation. I don't like them. Asians are bad people to have in your country because they never commit crimes, they run good businesses, and they make the economy more profitable, and they create jobs. Anyway, let's move on from my crap.
Okay, so Paul it's just a comment. Women are strict on a man's height. So women, yeah, height is a big strength. It's a huge advantage if you have it, but it's not absolutely everything. But yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, oftentimes women on dating apps or whatever, they might put their filters to a certain height because that's something that women are hugely attracted to height. But also, what's a tall guy with no confidence? It's meaningless. If you have the height, you're not using it, then it's the same as not having it. So yeah, I think confidence is actually more important than height. James, did you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, confidence is more important than everything else put together. But yeah, you're not handsome enough, stop whining. You don't make enough money, stop whining. You're not tall enough, yeah, it's a real issue. It is a real issue, but this is something short guys don't realize. You have license to get away with stuff that a taller, more confident guy might not get away with. So there is quite a lot of bad, but there's a little bit of good that most guys don't actually use. The other thing to consider is a lot of shorter girls who are pretty attractive, they may have had the experience of a lot of taller guys, but they might have found that didn't end up in the relationship they wanted. Now, I mean, I'm going to be accused of being heightist, but it's very, very hard for me to see myself in a relationship with a girl who's under 5'8", preferably under 5'10". It's just, it just doesn't work for me. So, maybe not so much in my 50s, but yeah, if I got some banging 5'3" girl, I ain't saying no. are in terms of a shorter term thing. So a lot of women will figure this out and they'll be more comfortable with a shorter guy. At the end of the day, if you have the skills, which gives you confidence, and you have a great connection, and you dress well, read signals, all the stuff we crap on and on about, you'll destroy a taller guy. My favorite metaphor to explain this is if Conor McGregor or Caleb, I won't even try to pronounce his surname, what do they fight at? 68 kilos or something? Sorry for the Americans. What's that? 70 times 2.2. Who's really good at maths? So 155 or something. I'm probably way out because I've had a very hard week. So if Caleb at 155 fights with a guy who's 225, who's done bodybuilding and played basketball, and it's a fight to the death, the tall guy is a dead man. A guy I crapped on about on the last boot camp who's literally 5'7", about 48 kilo, with a Roman nose that gets into the building at least 5 minutes before him. His nose is probably half his body weight. He was the most insane guy I've seen in Australia, destroy any dating coach. And yeah, if he wanted to pinch your girlfriend and you're 6'6", you'd be in a lot of difficulty. I don't really watch basketball anymore. Michael Jordan sort of ruined the game of basketball. I mean, I don't know, even watching Kobe Bryant's clumsy and awkward compared to Jordan, as great as Kobe is. But yeah, Kevin Durant got massively cheated on. I don't know what he is, 7 foot tall or something. I don't know what he makes, 50 million a year or more, maybe more, between sponsors and playing. He had a woman just completely and utterly disrespect him and cheat on him. So yeah, if he's not tall, rich and famous and talented enough, I don't know who is. But from what I could pick up of the story, the guy who cheated on him wasn't great. So yeah, women are very strict on a man's height. So what you need to do is you just need to be way more skillful. If you're, whatever it is, if you're 140 pounds, you want to beat the living crap out of a guy who's 220 pounds, what do? You get some skills. You learn grappling and jiu-jitsu and striking and Muay Thai. You maybe lift some weights. You maybe watch your diet. Quite soon, if you just get a little bit of skill, you'll be destroying everyone. A business coach I really respect, I can't remember the exact time, but he says, basically, if you invest 40 solid hours into a new skill, you can basically destroy nearly anyone, apart from someone who's actually good at it. 40 hours of your life, 40 hours to get better with women or to get better at fighting or to get better at something will just magically put you in the top 1, 2, or even 5% of the population. So yeah, I don't know. I should do my sales pitch now. I didn't mean to do this. But yeah, if you can just ask open-ended questions, listen, touch, dress well, read signals. Tess can give you pretty much all of this in a handful of Zoom sessions. And Natalia, Coda, Val are wonderful as well, a bunch of other girls. Yeah, you'll just destroy everyone. You'll just simply destroy everyone. If you can just if you can just sort of not master, but if you can just get a good handle on the things I just mentioned. So yeah, you might be short, you might be old, you might be grey, but yeah, just get the skills. It doesn't matter. Your son might be getting bullied at school by guys who are 30% higher than him, bigger than him. Take him to an MMA coach. He might come back with a blood nose one day, but he's going to tear someone's shoulder out of joint or rip their ankle out or break someone's nose. No more bullies on your little midget son. It's the same with women. If you're too short, learn some skills and you'll be pinching. It's a bit of a rant. Sorry, it's got it for boot camp. And you'll be stealing girls off pretty much any guy you can imagine. And we've done this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times for so many guys. Anyway, hopefully that rant was valid. Paul, how tall are you out of interest?
Yeah, Paul, let us know how tall you are. And yeah, guys, yeah, we've just going back to learning these skills. If you you guys have been asking him some decent questions tonight, but if you want some feedback on specifically what it is that you're doing right and wrong in an approach and conversation scenario, I have some availability over the next 2 nights to go through that with you one-on-one on Zoom. This is something that we usually charge, or tomorrow it's only $1. During COVID, we were charging, how much was it, James, in COVID?
$14.95 plus GST.
There you go. Then that's not $14. That's $1,400. Yeah, $1, and we have some availability in the next 2 nights. I'm just gonna share a link in the comments section for you guys, so you can have a look if that's something that you'd like. 1 second, get unprepared. Here we go. Yeah, so
we might, if we can do this, we might just fly through the slides. I'll just get rid of Tess for 1 second, which would be extremely unpopular move. Whoa, he's screwed that up, hasn't he? That's the one we want. Yeah, so basically this is what it looks like. If dating over 40 sucks for you, have I got this right? Yeah, Tess is the boss of a whole bunch of women you'd mostly consider extremely beautiful. I should have uploaded it as a PDF, not a PowerPoint slide. The slides would look better maybe. Yeah, Tess is a catwalk model, so about as hot as they get. And she is an absolute killer lethal weapon coach. Pretty much my best ever, certainly on Zoom. Anyway, we'll go through that. So if you want dates, quality dates this week, you get to work with Tess, you get to do a date and feedback. This is what your tomorrow afternoon, evening can look like tomorrow. There's a whole bunch of other girls who do this, they're very good at it. I can't read it because it's too small. So yeah, the goal of this session, it's about 45 minutes, is to identify and eliminate key dating mistakes that have held you back with women your whole life. We'll give you a top 3, we'll give you a whole bunch of other stuff. Relative to the average guy, as I said, you invest 40 hours in one skill, you can destroy everyone else. If you invest 45 minutes in one skill and actually follow through and implement a tiny bit, you can destroy everyone else. We'll give you conversation structures, we'll identify and eliminate, we'll identify the mistakes you're making, which would be the most valuable thing by far. But yeah, you'll also get the conversation structures, the approaching tips and lines or conversation starters. We only teach our bootcamp students who pay a bit of money, and you'll never run out of things to say. You'll easily beat 95% of guys just with this 145-minute session, and you'll leave with a custom dating plan, which is basically top 3 things, some of your strengths, some of your weaknesses, top 3 things you must do. If you just do a half-assed job of implementing one, let alone 1 and 2, your life will change forever, guaranteed. And then there'll be a bunch of other things you should probably do, but if you just do 1 and 2, brave new world for you. Yeah, you'll walk away knowing how to get hot dates with quality women weekly. And if you're skeptical of my claims, Tessa's claims, dude, if you live in America, Australia, Western Europe, England, it's just so easy. It's so absurdly, so ridiculously easy to beat the average guy in our countries. It is a complete joke. That's what your tomorrow will look like. I should put Tess there, not Natalia, but I'll have to work on that with my tech people. And you can see that's the regular price there. If you go to our website, socialcoach.com, we didn't make this shit up. We get whatever, New Yorker, LA, South African flew in for the last boot camp. So once we sort of blow up on YouTube, yeah, everything we do will go up massively, because I've been a very, very bad internet marketer and YouTuber. And just stuck to Australian market. Now we're going global. So yeah, it's not $1,495. It's just $1 tomorrow. And yeah, anyone watching the replay, if you just, my wealthy friends will be very impressed with me. Oh God, I've got bingo wings. That's what all the English girls say, because I've been in a wheelchair for a while. Oh no, I'm 54 with bingo wings. I'll have to sort that out. Do some more yoga. Sorry about the bingo wings distraction. If you're watching replay, book by clicking the link in the description in the comments. I'll remember to put it in there, hopefully. And we've got one coming up on the 5th, 8th of February. We might not do many more Australian boot camps. If many, we're trying to move our business more to Bali at much higher prices, which we'll do with YouTube. If you're going to fly from New York, they might as well fly to Bali, not Sydney. And this could be your tomorrow. That's awesome. I'll bring the pretty one back. If anyone's got any questions about that, please let me know. I added her to the stage, but something went wrong.
We did it at the same time. There we go. We're doing the same thing.
We're trying to kiss and we're clanging our teeth together like 3 or 4 times. This is really embarrassing. That happened with the love of my life, but I made it through somehow with enough energy. So did anyone think that was funny where it keeps swapping the screens together and it's I did, but anyway. Tess doesn't think I'm funny. If I get a laugh, I'm very happy. Okay, next question.
Yes. So Paul had a question. Does Tess like muscles or dad bod guys? Okay, so I like healthy guys. So that doesn't necessarily mean huge big muscles. In fact, I absolutely hate guys. I really am not into gym junkie guys who are obsessed with their muscles and love taking selfies of themselves in the mirrors. That really turns me off. But yeah, I just, being healthy doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be completely ripped and have huge muscles or anything. It's more just that you're conscious of what you're putting in your body and you have a healthy lifestyle. So for me, I'm also really I'm really active. I like to be outdoors a lot, but most of my exercise is just activities that I really enjoy doing that have a physical component, like yoga, surfing, hiking, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm attracted to men who also have similar interests, and who are health conscious. So not necessarily muscles. Dad bod guys, I don't. I mean, like as I said, healthy. That doesn't mean, if you're not completely ripped or like super fit, but you're healthy, then that's fine for me. Again, like someone who's like really, really overweight, probably not attracted to that. Probably just because, again, it's not for me. It's about the health side of things more than anything else. Yeah.
Just to give you guys some more metrics, my business started when I had my bisexual girlfriends teaching my guys what to do on dates. You'd practice a date with one of my girlfriends, and then it would take you out the real world. It'd be so easy for you because you've actually practiced on a girl, just like if you're practicing boxing with a coach. And then that wasn't good for running a business long term because it wasn't the best. So I went and hired a bunch of girls. I mainly hired models simply because I wanted to make it harder for you in my classroom than it ever has in the whole world. I can't remember the last time I did a boot camp and some guy couldn't approach on the boot camp. I can't remember we did a boot camp last guy couldn't approach on a Friday. It could be 10 or 15 years. And we've had guys off horrendous social. I mean, we've had guys just come off, every stupid anti-anxiety and depression medication in the book. So yeah, we've never had a guy who couldn't approach. And we had a guy who did the boot camp again after not doing one for like 8 years, who basically was a week or two out of a wheelchair, a month or two out of a wheelchair when we coached him, and he didn't approach and it worked fine. So the reason I've done that is because the girls you get to work with on the boot camp look like Tess. You've seen her on a catwalk. I've showed you her before. Intimidatingly hot girl. You should have seen the dress she was wearing on Sunday. She got some lovely comments about that from many people, including the girls. But of these models I've hired, one who did New York Fashion Week, I don't know, 3 or 4 tours of Europe, like a proper agency model, she definitely wants a dad bod. She's actually turned off, repulsed would be too strong, by guys who are ripped. Now, whatever, there could be a bunch of reasons in that. But yeah, part of the reason is, she had to be a catwalk model build most of her early 20s. She doesn't want to have that obligation in her late 20s or 30s. She just wants to be a normal person. I mean, any guy is going to bang her, but she doesn't want to have to be like a catwalk model. Another coach, Jackie, who's one of the main features of the YouTube channel. Val and Jackie disagree on a lot of things, but Jackie doesn't like muscles unless they come from being an athlete or from actually doing man work. She thinks a guy who sits there and does his curls and his bench press and his special delt muscles, she thinks that guy's just weird, nauseatingly gross girl. She's not attracted to them at all. If it's from playing football or rugby or something or sport, she thinks it's great, but she thinks the guy is just sitting in the gym working out. She thinks that's awful. Val another girl, a Russian girl. She thinks a guy who's got this great body, again, if it comes from boxing or Muay Thai or something, cool. If it comes from sitting in the gym vainly, you know, trying to get the top of your biceps to come a bit closer so that you can see it in the shirt, she just thinks you're a wanker. She thinks you should be developing your brain in part to make money for her. So yeah, she just thinks guys with great bodies, unless it comes from being an athlete or your job, they think they're revolting. So this idea that's been put into our mind, we're going to have these big muscles. I think it's just a nonsense. It's a complete nonsense. Many women are turned off by it. Some of them might like it when they're 17 or 18 or 19 or 20. But yeah, I don't know. It's some pharmaceutical conspiracy to sell tons more protein and protein powers that lead downstream to much more early chronic illness. Yeah, Look at the sexiest men in the world going back to the 70s or the 60s. Jimmy Stewart, the guy from The Doors, or what's his name, Cary Grant. I mean, these weren't muscly, athletic guys. Even Brad Pitt, when he started, he was stick thin, you know, not much body fat. So yeah, I think this is just a complete misnomer. And a lot of hot girls will prefer a dad bod. Part of the reason is, this is something I think a lot of guys need to understand. Us men are lucky if, as long as we eat some vegetables and exercise. I mean, I'm 54. I mean, I've just been in a wheelchair for a while. I mean, women are still attracted to me, even with my spindly little arms. We age like fine wine, as long as you can eat some vegetables, not eat too much junk food, and play a bit of sport. Yeah, it's just like we have it very, very fortunately. Women, particularly with all these hormones, and once they get close to their childbearing years or beyond it, it's a real struggle to stay healthy, unless you're into yoga and great food naturally. So yeah, the American diet, which many of us have incorporated, that's far harsher on a woman's body in terms of being really attractive than men's. So yeah, women don't want to have some ripped, handsome abs, pecs, delts. I don't even know what the muscles are called. They don't want to have that guy in their bedroom when they're 28 and they don't look like what they look like in a swimsuit when they're 18 or 19. And they don't want to be obliged to try to maintain that, particularly if they've got a job, let alone a kid. So yeah, the second woman I slept with in my life, because I was doing, I'm going to make a ton of money, I'm going to get a Swiss watch, and I'm going to wear Versace jeans, I'm going to get big muscles and big muscles and big muscles. She said, I was so close to not sleeping with you because I was scared shitless of taking my clothes off around you. And if I hadn't slept with that girl, I might not be a dating coach now because I was in a very bad place. So yeah, don't forget this idea that you need muscles or big muscles. You need to look like you're a Men's Health cover model, or you're a football player, a rugby player, a basketball player, but be healthy. That was the first thing Tess said. I like guys who are healthy. Healthy is everything. And I teach a whole course about it, which is pretty useful for a 62-year-old or even a 40-year-old guy who wants to do better with women. It's no use doing better with women if you just feel and look like shit. You need all those little blue pills, which aren't too good for you long term, to get the flag hoisted. Okie dokie. What's the next question?
Question from Jeff. Do women like bald guys? Okay, well, I think that women do like bald guys if you're doing the right things and you're creating attraction. Yeah, I would say obviously, like, it's not the first thing that women are like, yeah, I'm really into bald guys. Some women maybe, yeah, but I would say most women, that wouldn't be the first thing that they're like, yes, I'm attracted to bald guys. But that doesn't mean that if there's a guy who's bald and who's really comfortable in his skin, confident, has great skills, and that has charisma, and is able to build attraction, that she's not going to be attracted to you. Like, absolutely not. It's not, I wouldn't say being bald is nearly as bad as being, like, I would say that being really short would probably be more of a disadvantage than being bald, definitely. And the biggest thing about, anyone who's balding, has like receding hairline or is balding or whatever, is to don't try and do some weird comb over thing where you're like covering it up, or just wear hats all the time. And it's like, and be ashamed of it. Just shave your head. Just like embrace it and be comfortable in your own skin, because women will respond a lot better to that than someone who's like trying to hide it and be weird about it. Yeah.
Great question, Jeff. I don't know whether it was Bruce Willis, Bruce Willis. It could have been Michael Jordan. But yeah, I don't think it's that big a disadvantage anymore. I don't think it really matters that much. I really don't think it matters that much. I've had so many bald guys. I turned into crazy studs. So many bald guys. I think evolution looks after you. I think guys who go bald early tend to have quite attractive heads. And some guys who go bald late, there's like, what the hell's going on with that head, man? You're lucky you had hair till you were like 60. You would not have reproduced if it wasn't for that. Just like there's a lot of fairly short guys who are very handsome. So they wouldn't have made it through the evolutionary process if they didn't have something going for them. So in my experience, I haven't come across too many young bald guys with really freaking ugly heads. I'm sure you can find one. If I Googled it, they'll come up with some. But yeah, from the little tiny picture you've got there, you can have a James big nose cam. Yeah, it doesn't look like you have an unattractive bald head, so I really wouldn't stress about it. As Tess said, I mean, tall is way more important. Confident is way more important. There's so many other things that we care about. Style basically destroys everything. You could be tall but not dress well, and the guy who's like 5 inches shorter than you will do dramatically better with women, let alone be able to start a conversation skillfully. So yeah, all these things that you have against you, most of them are nonsense if you have skills and confidence. I'm not saying you're going to be pinching girls off Leonardo DiCaprio or anything like that, but yeah, in terms of you getting a really great American or Australian or English girl or Dutch girl, just a little bit of skill and a little bit of time investment, and you should do really, really well. Fantastic. So okay, some comments here. Bus driving is illegal. Bus driving is a legal form of picking people up. I've recommended some wealthy clients maybe consider Uber driving, just because they're coders and they can get to, it's a good way to
I think he means it's a joke, James, as in like picking up people on your bus. It's a joke.
I freaking missed that. I'm working too hard.
Yes, it is a legal form of picking people up. You're right. Thanks, Jeff.
I don't understand emojis. I thought it was a serious comment. Well, what does that emoji mean?
It's the laughing, crying, laughing. It's like, ha ha ha, I'm crying. Laughing.
I've got more Spanish language than I have emoji language. I've got the thank you and I've got the love heart. I only speak 2 words of emoji. It's not really my thing. I get AI to do emojis for my emails. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's have an emoji there with money or something. So I can get AI to do emojis, but I don't speak emoji. So luckily I had a number of bisexual girlfriends doing my text messages for me. So I'm a little bit text message challenged. It's not my strong suit. That's why I have beautiful girls like this to help me with text. It's very rare I get a laugh out of Tess, so my 2-word emoji seem to be a winner. I was going to say the C word on YouTube. That would have been naughty. What other old dudes have only 1 or 2 words of emoji? I think if you looked at my emojis, probably 90% would be the thank you. I know how to make a big thank you, where you don't put any words on the text. You just do a big thank you. That's a big thank you. And I know how to do the love heart, but that's all I got. So I don't know what the hell that is. People send it to me all the time, but I don't know what it is.
For any of you guys who don't have great emoji skills, just don't worry about it. That's fine. In fact, I would say you probably want to avoid overdoing emojis, because it can come across as just like trying too hard. Yeah, I mean, a little emoji here and there just to get tone across, I think, in a text is not doesn't hurt. But yeah, if you don't understand emojis, don't worry about it too much. That's fine. Yeah. Any other questions you guys have? Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to mention as well, James, spoke about Uber driving to practice skills. Great way to practice conversation skills with lots of different people, and make a little bit of have a bit of a side hustle in your downtime. But again, like, yeah, I think that trying to actually escalate as an Uber driver is probably a no-go. So like women, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Yeah.
I've had an Uber driver hit on me horrendously hard, but that was a woman. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is different. That is different. But there have been.
Fair. She was like a 39-year-old model. I wouldn't have done the dirty with her, but I tried her out as a female coach, but she was not quite mentally sound enough to be a long-term employee. Let's put it that way. She was a very, very attractive 39-year-old lady.
I used to do Uber driving as well, actually.
Sorry?
I was an Uber driver. This is going back.
Oh wow, you must have some stories of it getting hit on. Jesus Christ.
I did some Uber driving. It was fun. It was good. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I used to. It's funny at the end when people can give you a rating out of 5 stars or whatever, and they can leave a comment. People would just be like, "Hey, can I have your number?" Like just really random comments like that, and it goes onto your profile. So people reading my profile, usually people would say, "Oh, great service," or yeah, this person had great conversation or good music or something like that. And people like asking weird questions, and that's coming up on my profile. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I vanished for a second. Was everything okay with you, Tess?
Yeah, everything was fine with me. You did freeze it.
Um,
Got another question come through from Akshay. Actually, I've been trying to get more social. I've been trying to be more social at work and striking up conversations with my colleagues. There are some women with whom I have never spoken with for more months. I just smile and move on. Okay, cool. And then a question following on from that: how can I start talking to them without being awkward? Easy. Easy. All you have to do is, if you're starting with a smile, you already, that's a great starting point. But yeah, the fact that you've never spoken to them is a great reason to speak to them. If the opportunity arises, or you say, hey, like, we've obviously been working here. I've noticed you around or something for however long. I just thought I'd come actually introduce myself because we've never actually spoken. That makes complete sense. You work together, so why wouldn't you speak to your colleagues? It's a great reason to actually start talking to them. The fact that you haven't, and then again, if you have a good open-ended question to begin conversation with, something that's easy to answer, something that's relatable, or something that's going to get her talking about something she loves straight away is probably my best advice there.
how can you start talking to them without being awkward? So I went and got myself some food because I'm skinny and I need my food. I've been trying to be more social at work, starting conversations with my colleagues. There's some women with whom I've never spoken with, been there for months, just smile and move on. Are you trying to pick them up? Are you trying to practice your social skills? What's your goal? I did a video with Natalia, one of my best coaches, about how to pick up girls at work. Depends what your job is. If you work in a bar and you're a young guy and you're studying at university, fuck as many girls as you possibly can. But if you're some sort of corporate lawyer or some sort of executive, or you've put any sort of time and effort into your career, you are really sticking your dick in in a minefield of ruin with social media in the modern world. But if you really want to, it's a sad thing for the world, because so many professionals, just going back 20 years, they ended up marrying someone through their work because they got someone intelligent with similar interests. But now, it's just far too problematic. How can I start talking to them? So how can I start talking to these girls without being awkward? At work, it's easy. Just it's the easiest thing ever. That's why so many people hooked up with it. It's just like you talk about something at work, and you go, "Oh, so when you're not doing taxes at Arthur Anderson, what do you most love to do?" Or just so anyway. Tough week, Cindy. What you got planned for the weekend? It's so easy. Just talk about work and then transition to hobbies and interests.
Yeah, exactly.
I see it's another thing from Ash Guy. Practice social skills first and then eventually pick up in the future. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like work's a great place to practice social skills. I need to know what you do, because if it's a job that doesn't matter if you get fired or you upset someone mildly, go for it. Go for gold. Go for gold. But if it's any sort of profession or you earn any sort of money, you're putting effort into it, it's very problematic these days. I think we've got just 2 or 3 questions left. I might just tell a story. I'll probably tell again next week. So I want to nail it. I think it's a really interesting story, and then we'll probably wrap up pretty soon. Okie dokie. I did a boot camp last week. Okay. What can please people guess in the comments? What is the number one? Oh, can't get my finger. What's the number one cause of approach anxiety for the majority of my clients? Intelligent guys, sometimes spend a bit of time on a computer, sometimes under a lot of stress. Can anyone guess what it is? What's the number one thing? If you get rid of that, your approach anxiety will improve a lot. Okay. I badly screwed up probably the best opportunity with women I've had this year. I screwed it up. Now, last week, I did a boot camp, as we've talked about. People flew from all over the world, like 28 hours in some cases. And the Friday night was extremely difficult. My approach coaches weren't there. A bar that usually rocks on Friday with a lot of after-work drinks was pretty much empty. And I went out and I somehow found the one approach in the bar that wasn't just walking into annihilation, and I did it, and that gave me enough energy. I held it for 10 minutes, had to touch them a lot and have lots of Steve Irwin happy energy, and I made that work, and that gave me enough energy post my warm-up to start. Just the handful of people who were there, when they walked in or they walked down, I just walked out in front of them. Hey, how you doing? I'm James. And I asked them, what you got planned for the weekend? I asked them something. I go, come meet my awesome friends. And yeah, I'd introduce the guys and say what they did. Then I'd sometimes find out about the girl. Then I'd introduce them. And I went and did that 3 or 4 times. And I probably got 9 of the people into groups. And some of them lasted for like hours. One of the guys who's here was in a group that I introduced that way. So yeah, and I did a exceptional job. Being a dating coach, I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, where you take a whole group of crazy nervous guys out and you encounter really difficult situations where you're scared of approaching. How do you think the client who's flew from New York, who's struggling with social anxiety, feels? So anyway, I did that. And then what happened yesterday was I got off an overnight flight. There's a bunch of problems. Just back, I had to go straight into work for reasons I won't share with you. And a really good friend of mine, he's started a new app, so he wanted to send it to me and get my feedback. I spent all this time when I was eating dinner trying to problem solve the app just to get it up and running so I could see it on my phone, so I could give him some feedback and perspective. I couldn't do it. It took me 45 minutes of problem solving on an app, and I'm not very good at this stuff. As we found out, I have an emoji vocabulary of 2 emojis. Well, I can't do the 2 right. So I'm not the best at this stuff. And yeah, anyway, I went for my little after dinner walk. Any of you old guys, if you look at first world environments or village life, after old people have a walk, have a meal, particularly if it's late, they go for a walk. And then I had to get something from a grocer. And I saw, in many ways my dream girl. She was 6 foot. She was pretty stacked there. Even the no bra action walking around was like, hello. And yeah, long, whatever, just ticked nearly all boxes. She wasn't brunette. I prefer, she was blonde, but anyway. And yeah, so I did my usual thing of I see something and I do, you can call it my bad boy stare. I'm like, whoa, I just lock on her and move up and down. When I saw her come in, I couldn't see her body and I just locked on her because she had an attractive face. Then when I first saw her whole body, I looked up and down. Did I do the pickup artist cold approach? No, I just went about shopping and I waited to see if she hung around me. And it turns out she did. She gave me an opportunity to approach her. And it was too hard. It would have been really awkward and weird, and there was other people in the aisle, so I didn't get to do that one. There was never, I mean, to do that smoothly would have been really hard. And then I walked around the aisle, and I was ready to go, but I pretended I was looking for other stuff just to see what happened with her. And lo and behold, she came out. And then again, we were just sort of crossing paths. It would have been a bit abrupt. I tried to do things smoothly, especially with 10s. I mean, she may have been a 10. In most guys' eyes. And yeah, anyway, she sort of follows me out, and then it didn't work. So I go straight to the checkup. She was probably wandering around waiting for that guy who looked at her like, this guy's the best bad boy in the island, and looked her up and down. She was probably waiting for me to approach her. It's a place where people go for holidays. And then I got to check out, and immediately she's like 30 seconds behind me, and she gets in a line that's shorter. Sorry, I'm giving too much facts and data. And then I opened the conversation saying, the girl goes next. There was only like 3 or 4 seconds that we had between being called up. I said, oh, you were first. She goes, no, actually, you were first. So like, oh, shit. So I go up and I start paying for my stuff. And then I think, oh, what am I going to say to her? And I turn around and I do something. Anyway, the point is, the girl comes over. Women as attractive as Tess. There's a window. This isn't my intellectual property. It's some other dating dude. There's a window that opens. With this girl, I had 5 seconds of the window being open, maybe only 3, and opened. And what I had to do was, as soon as she got in the line, I had to say, oh, so what's been your favorite thing in Lombok? What's been the highlight of your day? Just something. I should say something. Even say hi. How are you going? And if she goes, I'm okay. I go, oh, so what's been the highlight of your week? So many things. I could have said a bit gay. I said, oh wow. How tall are you? And then I could just go up and say, hey, I'm James. Hey, you're really tall. Just so I can't introduce yourself. I'm James. There's so many things I could have done, because I was under so much stress. I didn't. And then it was too awkward. And then I paid for my stuff and started to walk out, and she went straight up. And it was been weird. So I tried again. So I went to the bathroom and waited around, but she unfortunately went that way. But anyway, she must have seen me walking, and she timed her, like women do all this shit to get men to talk to them, and most guys are completely blind to it. She timed riding on her motorbike such that she caught me when I crossed the road. I'm like, what am I going to do? Drag her off the bike and do an opener? I probably should have done something, but the point of this story is I had 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, where her window was open, and it was a socially acceptable and extremely smooth approach. And I know from my experience with really beautiful girls, like modeling agency girls, you have to get pretty much everything right, otherwise there's no date. So I had this 3 to 5 seconds, and I failed. Now, point in the whole story, which probably took too much time tonight. If I had that opportunity last week on a boot camp, I probably would have had sex with her by Wednesday. But because I'd gone back to work, done an overnight flight, being under a lot of stress, trying to redo a whole bunch of stuff before Christmas and New Year's, which is prime time for us onboarding new clients. Again, the window was only open for 3 seconds, 5 at the most, but I'm a professional at this and I failed. So why am I telling you all this? These things, and especially these things, so get rid of Tess, these things are the arch enemy of you getting better with women. And most of my clients spend a lot of their life on these things, and then they complain they have most of their sex with these things and these things. So, I'm not very, I'm going to do it properly. So this and this and this keeps you celibate, settling for women you're not attracted to, or attracting toxic women. So if you want to get a girl like Tess, if you want to get some hot girl, if you want to get any girl and you get some computery job, stay away from those things. Stay away. They are cancer. They are toxic. They are the worst thing ever. On my boot camps, it's happened 2 or 3 times Friday night, guys going out to approach. I'm going to talk to girls in the real world. I'm really scared. Even though they've spent a whole bunch of calls with Tess, then we've trained them with all these beautiful models. They know what they're doing. They're better than nearly any guy they'll compete with. And they're on their phone doing something like, what the hell are you doing on your phone? All your energy is going to this little tiny place. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's crazy. So just talk to people. I'm paying for this huge group dinner for you. Just talk to people. So yeah, seriously. I mean, it was a very difficult approach to do it well, which I needed to do on a girl that attractive. But yeah, the fact I had that 3 to 5 second window and I couldn't think, yeah, it's just because I spent that 45 minutes trying to problem solve an app. So anyway, long-winded, but I think hopefully anyone who sat through this is an incredible amount of value. You've got to get away from your computer. You've got to get away from stress. You've got to do something to warm up. Because, yeah, I would have eaten that girl, big-headed, I would have eaten that girl alive in the 3 or 4 days after boot camp. But that was the best opportunity I had this year. And the great women of my life had come at a time, and this is the universe intervening, where I had to be a killer to get them. The only girl I've ever met who was important to me, I met in a bar, was a fly-around-the-world model for one of the world's 2 biggest modeling agencies, hang out with another fly around the world model for one of the world's 2 biggest modeling agencies. She was from the same elite model management. She was from the same company she was, and they were with two investment bankers who were like 6'5" and 6'4", and one of them would be an ex-college football player. And this skinny little guy who's badly dressed because he's been traveling. I had to be a killer because as soon as the students saw me and the other instructors saw me, I was looking for a job there. I had to absolutely kill it. And I did. But yeah, I wasn't stuck looking at a spreadsheet or looking at my to-do list or problem solving something in YouTube ads. I was talking to people and being social. So a bit of a rant, but hopefully that was incredible value for you guys. I don't think it is because, yeah, these things... Too much time on these things means this is the girl you take to bed, or at least your desk, or whatever you do your business. Anyway, I'm getting hungry. Hope that was a lot of value. Oh, that's sweet. Jeff was saying, I'd love to have a girl like Tess. 14 people this last weekend agreed with you. Or at least 13, probably 14. Any questions I've missed out on?
No, I think we there are a couple right at the end here, James. Date plan and how can I start talking to them without being awkward? Oh yeah. Yeah, there's this one, date plan. Can you provide an example of a killer date plan based on your experiences? And there's one more about taking up opportunities at weddings.
Okay, I think Luke was one of our regulars. We'll do him first. The regulars get VIP status. Thank you, Luke, for your support. We really appreciate that, especially as I've used the same thumbnail for the last 4 weeks because I've been too busy. I have a wedding to attend offshore, and there's meant to be plenty of available women there. James, what are your tips to capitalize on this opportunity? Just make friends with the high status people in the room. Suck up to the bride because the hot girls are probably her friend. Be really sweet to the bridesmaids, even if they're but ugly, because that's an in to you. They're probably going to know many of the people there. The mother and father, basically, whenever I go into a social situation and I want to get laid, I'm looking at who are the high. I'm not doing pickup artists, cold approaches. I'm looking at who are the highest status people in the room, and I want to get them on side. If you just want to run through a whole bunch of 5s, 6s, and 7s, then you can do your cold approach thing. If you want the hottest girls anywhere, you also have a brain, you're far better off taking over the social environment and getting introduced, or having a much more casual approach, not the pickup artist thing, particularly at a wedding. The other thing to bear in mind from all the metrics I have of you, you're a very desirable guy. Women are so sad at weddings. They're so sad. It's like Valentine's Day on steroids. Like, my best girlfriend since high school is getting married. I'm still single. I haven't had sex in a year. Last time I had good sex was this Brazilian guy, and I'm nearly 30 and my life's over, even though I've got this fantastic career. Women are falling apart at weddings. They just want a dude. So, yeah, it's nearly as good as being back at university studying marketing or nursing or something. It's prime time. Yeah, so just if it's women in your target market, that's a huge opportunity for you. Oh, finally, if you're at a wedding, this is a mistake I made. Don't be hyper competitive trying to catch what is the garter thing called?
The bouquet.
Apparently, I was considered a bit of an asshole when I thought I was back playing Australian rules football and bumping guys out the way and just, trying to get the bouquet. So I was a bit hyper competitive they take a chair away each time. And then the garter thing, apparently I was a complete disgrace at that wedding. So yeah, but I had to win. Didn't matter what it was, I just had to win. So yeah, that would be good. Date planning, that's a huge conversation. If you could put that up on the, look, if you have any questions on that, we'll sign off from here. Date plans, I mean, in Bondi Beach, I met them at a bookstore cafe. I took them for a walk. I sat in some grass. They tried to pitch to get them back to my place for a bit of you-know-what. If that didn't work, I took them to a bar. So the date plan is going to depend on where you live, who you are, what are your hobbies and interests, what are the girls like, where did you meet them, where do they live in relation to you. There's a whole bunch of stuff we need to know before we can figure out a date plan for you. But that's a rough idea. That was a killer date plan for me in Bondi Beach. The very first thing I do when I get to a new city and I want to get some girls and get laid is figure out my date plan. I'm doing that before I'm approaching anyone. So if I don't have a date plan, I'm probably just going to put leads in the funnel and blow them up. As I said, for anyone who just joined, we did a boot camp last week and 3 or 4 of the guys hadn't gone through the date planning training that is absolutely life-changing and awesome. I said, what the fuck did you fly from New York for without watching my date planning training? Are you an imbecile? I didn't say that. But yeah, it's one of the most, there's virtually nothing you can do to get so much return on your time and investment in sex life in such a short period of time, particularly if Tess and I or one of our female coaches helps you with it. But we need to know quite a bit about you, where you live. Do you have kids? Do you live in the suburbs? Do you live in a cool place that's in a city where girls just come to you? It's quite a complicated, it's quite a simple thing, but there's a bit to it as well. I'm getting a wee bit hungry, and we try to wrap them up out here. I don't want to do, if anyone doesn't understand my references, I say I don't want to do any more Scorsese movies. So we can't go 3 hours long. I get this lovely lady a bit upset. So 2 hours 22, the average length of a studio movie. Thank you for those guys who listen to us. So if there's no killer questions, I might just toddle off and put some food into skinny little body.
Yeah, Jeff's saying he's just booked a call in. Awesome, Jeff. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I haven't checked if, who else is booked in, but yeah, very much looking forward to seeing you, Jeff. And what did David said? Andy was my pick. Sorry, Tess. That's can't believe it, David. You absolute traitor. But no, that's completely
David liked Andy better than Tess on the boot camp.
Andy's got a very sexy South American accent, and she's very feminine. She's gorgeous. She's absolutely lovely. So that's okay, David. I don't no hard feelings there. I do also love Andy. And
I can just give you some feedback. That's probably like Brad Pitt breaking up with Jennifer Aniston to go to Angelina Jolie. That's probably not a winner. Long term. Short term, do whatever the hell you want. And it's pretty hard I mean, Tess is about as feminine Australian girls they come, but it's pretty hard to compete in the sexiness stakes with those Latina girls. They sort of wrote the book on being sexy. So, and being good in bed too. Yeah. when you, I mean, the girls say if you go black, you ain't going back. When you go Latina, no one does what they do between the sheets. I can tell you. Actually, girls with even darker skin than Latinas can be pretty frightening in bed too. But yeah, they tend to win. Oh, Tess was like a sister. Hope that's a good compliment.
Thank you, David. No, David and I know each other pretty well. We've worked with each other for a while, so thank you, David. That's a big compliment. Yes, we're like family.
She's everyone's big sister. It might be Jeff's big sister soon. So yeah, anyone's still here, love that you're joining these. But yeah, in 45 minutes with Tess, you could get the value of 100 of these, 1,000 of these. That doesn't mean don't stop coming. We love you guys, because based on all the guys flying from around the world from the tiny amount of traffic we're getting, we're going to be huge soon, as long as I don't screw anything up, which I'm good at. Okay, I think we might move on, and we'll say goodbye to everyone. I'll put some food in this skinny little body, and if anyone's got any suggestions for the next one, I might try to come up with a different thumbnail and a different topic, but these seem to be working quite well, and we love answering your questions more than we love doing lots of content. If anyone's got any requests for what they would like next, chuck it in the chat. We'll have a look, and we'll give it a whirl next week. I'm trying to do my Aussie thing. Anyway, keep smiling, and bye for now. And I promise no more Pauline Hanson impersonations for the next 3 weeks. I don't like it. See you guys.
See you guys. Thanks so much for your awesome questions. Looking forward to seeing you again sometime in the future. Bye.
See you guys.